game because it's already started. We are in map number 2. So I'm gonna give Rent a little bit of +1 next to his name because he deserves it. Spawning here in the southern spawn location. After winning game number 1, it's gonna be the blue Team Liquid player Rhett.
In the top position now is the green Protoss. It's Strintern.
And I just want to clarify something because I'm not sure if chat misinterpreted it or if I just said it poorly on account of the fact that I'm still pretty exhausted from yesterday. But I was not trying to imply that Rhett is in a downward slump. I'm just saying I've seen his ups, I've seen his downs, and you know, he kicked ass at WCS, and I think I said it in the first best of 3 we cast today. I'm really glad to see that he is in that upswing, that he's right in the positive right now.
Yes, I understood.
Oh well, you know. Jade may have known to look for this. We'll see if Strintern does. It's interesting to me because I'm remembering back to the days of Habitation Station. You know, it was one of the first gold maps to get reintroduced to map pool in a long time. And back then, everyone kind of they got on the gold base train really quick. It became really popular after folks like Life and stuff were doing stupid things on it, right? But I mean, that one was popularized really quick. This is like a season and a half later that we finally see people starting to take the golds. And it's mostly Zerg, of course, but take the golds more commonly. What do you make of that?
Well, it's not just that they're taking them more commonly. It seems to be the go-to build for Van Eye. And I gotta say that it's just I guess it can't be denied easily. People have tried over the Overgrowth. I guess really started. Well, I guess Habitation Station technically started it, but Overgrowth really started it for Zerg, and they've been trying forever to find this perfect response to it. And the only perfect response that you really have, I guess, so far is like you happen to be cannon rushing. And then it goes pretty well, but that's even that's kind of died down in terms of builds that you choose. Forge Path Span in general. Yeah,
thinking back to like all the games where Wellmoo versus Snoot, for example, trying to bring in the gateway all in. So Wellmoo's someone who certainly can execute that, and even then, just didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, gateway all-ins, you put your hands in the fates of an all-in, which you might not have wanted to do in the beginning of this game, and you're kind of forced to, and they don't win. You say, well, what else can I do? Stargate openers can be effective just because they're harassment opportunities that don't force you to, like, all-in, basically, and that can be nice enough that you do match their macro game, but, you know, there's nothing you can do to punish it, apparently, and that is a definitely good reason to go ahead and get it every game.
Well, one thing I'd like to remind people about too, by the way, so just going back to that, was it was only just yesterday, after? I don't remember when. Time yesterday is kind of a questionable point for me, but some point yesterday we did finally get the entire Yord Invitational finals up on YouTube, the whole best of 7 versus Wellmoo, and I'm just throwing that out here now because if you missed it live, it's absolutely at least watch the last game in that series. It was the best of times. But I reference it because as well, if you want to see Protoss try to deal with Zerg and have Zerg have a good time on this map, if you want to learn as a Zerg player, you should watch Snoot play the gold base on this map. He does it really well. But,
yeah, he does.
See if his teammate can live up to those expectations. I like that Red did take that through this time really quick before going for like a fast layer or anything like that.
Yeah, the layer didn't really work out anyways. You know, you got the hiders really quickly, which would help out versus like a 2-base all-in, because the manager's pretty good, but that wasn't the case. His Protoss opponent didn't even do anything with it. And speaking of right now, you know, Protoss opponent doing something, Strintern really isn't doing a whole lot. He's just opening with another macro build. You know, he's got both gas on the main, so it's gonna be an all-in. He's got a Forge on the way. Red's gonna have eyes on the natural. You could also just put the Overlord behind the base, as Van Eye has a lot of dead space back there. Although this Ling does see that as a quick third, and that's gotta be a good feeling for Red, who just says like, okay, you're gonna let me give away the gold? Alright, fine. Like, that's fine for me. You might still attack, just because you're either gonna have a really good economy, or you're gonna have a really good attack on a boosted economy. Like, either one's really fantastic. But it's up to the Zerg player. Red goes for double Evo chambers, so I'm guessing the attack won't be immediate, and he's still getting a lot of drones. Pumping it as quickly as possible.
Red to me is the type of guy where I see like Hydra, I see Roach, I see Blinding Cloud, okay, all that good jazz. Even though I did play Ling Hydra earlier, I would love if he went melee upgrades though. I would love to see him go for like the Hive Tech play on a map like Van Eye.
That's almost all you ever see when you get double Evo chambers in ZVP is the melee upgrades, and he does get it. The only difference would be that if you thought you were going to be safe for a long time and you got a gold base and whatnot, you're just being really greedy and you do get the missile attacks. But no, he goes for the usual, the melee or the double Evos. So this is going to be entirely link based, and I mean, he might be going up to like a quick hive, even with the Roachborn thrown down. That might still be the case. That might just be an emergency Roachborn.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can see Rhett being like the Roach Hydra guy and all that stuff for the mid game, but I was, I like this. I like this a lot because, okay, there's a chance that maybe he ends this game early. Again, no offense to Strintern, but there was some pretty not great positioning on the sentries last time. Maybe Rhett can capitalize on it again. But even if he doesn't, if you've had the gold base in the early game, it's Van Eye Research Station. Broodlords can be abused, Ultralists can be abused. There's a lot of ways to use Hive Tech beyond just simply Vipers, and I love that he's got melee weapon upgrades.
I don't want to say that Strintern going for a third base as quickly as he is not necessarily bad. I mean, this is like, I guess, the third choice in your options of what to do against a Protoss or a Zerg player taking the gold base. It's just that this gives the Zerg so much opportunity to capitalize on it. So then it really does make the Zerg the I don't know, the power holder of this game. And unless Strintern had some kind of like sneaky, like, you know, he didn't take the gas at the third base, he went for an all-in off of it, so it kind of surprised Rhett, and Rhett was going up to Broodlord as quickly as possible. He's just gonna have to like defend, weather the storm, and hope to God he doesn't lose so much that a late game would be impossible.
What's the opposite of hot?
Hot? Cold?
Huh. I don't think I've ever noticed it before.
It's the opposite of hot?
Yes, I never knew that cold was the opposite of hot. It's the first time I've learned that cold was the opposite of hot. Thank you.
Well, you asked.
I was just going to make a nice little comment to you, but you know what? I'm going to take it back because you just assumed I was stupid, and now I feel hurt.
I'm sorry.
It's just what you mean. You're mean.
I'm sorry. Well, I guess we'll never know what you're going to say.
I'll probably bring it up later if I remember. But Infestation Pit was one thing, and I was kind of, before we started making this weird, awkward conversation, I was going to be like, oh, great Hive Tech, but he's going for Pathogen Glands. Not something super duper common. It's more common when you're wanting to fight against pure blink stalkers, and I guess that's what Rhett's predicting his opponent doing. I mean, of course, the worst thing about fighting against blink stalkers is whether you've got roaches, hydras, lings, or even ultralisks, they tend to just blink away and you can't catch them. But between a good couple of fungal growths, you could use 3 to crush the sentries, 2 to hold the stalkers in place. I mean, he's going to have at least 3 to 4 infestors available for this attack.
Tried to catch him out in the open, which was a good move, and forces a recall. That's already a pretty bad start to the push-outs. This means that this attack is basically not going to happen now. If you got to warp in 3 of his gateways as well, so it's like 4 regular gateways, 6 warp gates. But you really wanted to pressure them at, like, you know, stop them from getting to Broodlords, stop them from, I don't know, getting the last 10 drones that they need. Stop them from getting a 4th, maybe, if you're lucky. But instead it does absolutely nothing, and Rhett's like, oh, okay. I'll just get a perfect army then.
Yeah, and a big thank you to TLO, by the way, for the hosts. Hello, TLO viewers. If you're just tuning in, it's the DSCL, and we're in the winners match, where Rhett is currently up 1-0 versus his opponent, Strintern.
I believe Rhett saw the War Prism. Well, he does now, of course. It's in his natural base. That's why he plants on the Spore Crawlers. That is a lot of Zealots warped in. The Roaches are trying to respond. They do not have charge. No, they don't. So they probably take on the Roaches. Oh, but a big engagement goes down in the main. Or the main engagement, rather.
But it's a lot of lings, so I don't know. Perhaps not the biggest. Not a big deal to get caught like that. I mean, it sucks to lose. You lose units no matter what. But yeah, here comes this fungal growth, and right in the heart of the army are those sentries. They did get fungled. Another one going down. One more should be able to finish the job. Rhett does land, and all those sentries are just going to disappear.
Oh, God.
That went incredibly well for Rhett.
That was pretty perfect. The infestors also stayed out of range of the feedbacks. Either that or Strintern just didn't remember that he could do that, but that's supposed to happen. Like, you're supposed to miscontrol the infestors and they get a couple of feedbacks, and at least they trade a little bit, but that was really nice control from Rhett to hold position. He's got a greater Spire on the way, as well as continuing to upgrade these lings. The War Prism is a little annoying. He's not going to deal with that. He could build a Corruptor, just to get rid of it, but choosing not to and go. Well, you should be building corruptors anyways. You're gonna go to Broodlords.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he'll get around to that. He'll deal with the War Prism later.
You know, when the Templar were out, Storm was done. I was like, man, this could be great. You'll be able to feedback the investors. Maybe you have some energy. You look over for a Storm or two. I mean, as good as Colossus and other things are, nothing wipes the face of Lings off the map as quick as Storm does, right? So it would have been nice to see a couple of those get landed. But now he's got so few Templar. He's got like 2, 3. I don't know they can actually afford to do all the feedbacks he'd like to do and get Storms out afterwards.
Yeah, that is the trick. You won't be able to get both done. And if you accidentally use the ones that have Storm to feedback and you get rid of your own Storm, then that's, you know, obviously really bad.
Yeah, bad news bears. Alright, well here's the, I mean this is the best possible engagement location for it. We see the cannons actually sandwiching from behind if they were ignored. Ling's going to take those out. Fungal growths are going down though, going to hold a lot of these units in place. Roaches, not upgraded, as we see, don't really hit that hard. And it looks like Strintern fully aware of what's transitioning out of this, by the way. He's got the fleet beacon on the way. Looking towards potentially Tempests. But as good as this attack was, Ret does have to disengage. And he's gonna barely, oh my god, 1 health on that Infestor.
Strintern has a big job ahead of him, though. He's already weathered the initial, like, gold-based, you know, adrenaline rush storm, and that's fantastic, but he still hasn't really done any economic damage to Ret. Ret did get a 5th base, sorry, or 5th base over the left. He can get a 6th base in the middle.
Equally so, though, like, Ret hasn't really touched Strintern. Neither player's really gotten into the economy. No one's really taken down a Nexus or hit those mineral lines.
Well...
But what's interesting is this Broodlord Tempest dynamic. I guess it's been a while since we've seen this, and in fact it happens so rarely nowadays because everyone's been working outside of it. But for those who don't know, Tempests were nerfed a couple of patches, or was this still the most recent patch, I guess?
No, it's still the last patch.
Yeah, still the most, it was a while ago was all. But Tempests have had their bonus damage versus massive nerfed. So before, you only needed 3. I think now you need like 6 shots to kill a Broodlord or something.
Yeah.
So you can't just one-shot it easy peasy, but the good news is that they still work. The range is still really long. Obviously air units, so they can't be targeted by much. So if Ret, if he's under fire, I mean, like, okay, there's a couple of Tempests out. But I doubt these Broodlords go down too quickly, too easily.
Unfortunately, Broodlords, they're not going to be pulled back to deal with the drop. They're way too slow to do that. But if you're dropping and attacking and harassing, maybe Ret forgets to bring his Infestors to cover the Broodlords, and you do get to blink under them. These are all things that he has to do because the Tempests aren't in a high enough number to really kill them fast enough. Like, they're going to tear down the 4th base, they're going to turn on your army by the time a Tempest finally kills one of them. That's, you know, it's really disappointing about this latest patch. It seems really difficult to take out Broodlords, and that's why we see Broodlords is very common late game response. Of course, Swarm Hosts were nerfed too. The DT was warped in. I don't believe there's an Overseer with the army. Okay, well there they come now.
I don't know about this. This is like... The Broodlord's gonna force the issue, but only for so long. There's a clock on this as the Tempest on top, but that blink forward. Ooh. Oh, but it's Storm!
Wow.
Broodlings and Zerglings tearing through the Stalkers pretty quickly. It looks like he will outlive a lot of the Stalkers.
Yeah, there's the Fungals that were missing from the first part of that fight, and he does take out all of the Broodlords, but Ret has these, like, nicely upgraded basic units called Lings that he could just remax, well, not remax, but at least swell on a little bit, and he did end up taking out the 4th base, so there's finally the economy being really chipped out for Strintern, and he is starting to mine out of his other bases. Little.
I don't know, for Ret to throw so much away for one base. I guess it might just be that it's too costly that Strintern can't afford to make that Stalker ball again while making Colossus, while getting Tempest out. So the idea of getting this Ultra Scavenger, I think, is actually really sick. Because Strintern, between all of those things he's already building, there's no way he has money and gas to do Immortals.
True that. Yeah. I think Ret's still in the position to win, even after his gold base has been mined out.
Absolutely.
It's just that that probably could have been a kill move if he had just bothered to bring, you know, 5, 10 Corruptors with him to take out the Tempests. The Tempests were chipping away that entire time. They weren't being touched. So that, in that sense, it's a little disappointing. The Ultra's cover is just a little scary because, you know, Ultra's kind of good at throwing a game away. So if he did find a good SimCity and manage to make some Immortals, then, you know, they could be in big trouble. Yeah, I think just going for the Lings could probably kill him.
Rare is the time that you'll see us praising an Ultralisk in any cast, but I really think that there are smart moves to go for this in this particular game. In this low income scenario.
Plus, they're well upgraded, which in other DVPs they don't ever have the attack upgrade, for at least. Well, the Corruptors are meant to deal with the Tempest, probably, but dealing with the Colossus I think is more important, as those Lings are just wrecking the rest of the army. The Tempest can survive, but good luck dealing with Lings.
Yeah, Lings aren't even fully upgraded yet. They're about to be in about a second, but do tons of damage this game.
Yeah, the Tempest will take them out so slowly. They get into the main base. That should be their next target. Is it? The door is open for them. There's 50 of them on the way.
Yeah, the Lings are slippery buggers. Yeah, I wish Pathogen Glands, right? I wish it, and this is so bad coming from a Terran player, I really wish it would not just increase the amount of energy an infestor starts with, but perhaps increase the rate at which it regenerates as well. Because it feels like a lot of times we see infestors, it's almost more efficient to just let them die and build new ones.
Oh god.
It takes so long to get that energy back. Or mana, as some people call it. I don't know, I never saw that as being like a mana bar. Energy always made more sense.
That's Warcraft, man.
I know,
well,
but
it really is.
But like James and such, like when we cast with them, they always refer to it as like mana bars and stuff.
Well, he's wrong. So tell him that.
I'm just saying, like I don't know, like I've always known it as energy. I don't know where the other words for it come from.
Warcraft. It's really mana, Warcraft, energy, and StarCraft too. Well, StarCraft in general. It's just so simple, James.
So is energy just future mana, though? I mean, it's mana from the future? It's energy?
Energy is mana that is scientifically understood.
So it's photosynthesis.
You know? It's like that quote or that idea or whatever, that something that seems like magic is actually just yet to be understood science. Yeah? Yeah.
Then,
transfuses
I can test,
should go on Corruptors.
How do you explain Harry Potter?
We don't understand the science yet. I mean, that's
but
really
it's
what
not,
it is.
it's magic.
No.
We had this conversation. Is that one wizard who totally understands science?
No, he understands science as we know it now, but in 500 years, they might be like, oh, it's just, you know, etc., etc. Like,
Ultras, please, get involved with the fight. Quit running around the back.
They get to it. They get around to it.
Yeah, eventually. I think Red was actually specifically saving transfuses because he let a lot of queens die. Hoping to use all the energy specifically for the Ultras, but yeah, they took so long to get in the fight. Either way, he is going to close out the winners match 2-0 and be the first player through Group A. Congratulations, Liquid Rats.